I'll be speaking to you today about the air handling and circulation in OT and OPD. As soon as we bring about this topic, the big question in everyone's mind is, do I need to make infrastructure changes in my current setup? This is the most common question that I keep facing. So what changes do I need to do in my OPD? And what changes do we need to do in our OT? Well, for the last 18 months, we learned many things from our experts, and we also unlearned many things. Both the experts as well as us unlearned many things as we gained experience. That is because of our improved understanding. We have better testing availability now, and we also have vaccination. So our ideas and our approach has changed. Well, I am no expert in air handling. I am in the same boat as you are all with respect to air handling and circulation in OT and OPD. But in this presentation, I'll try to help you to answer these questions in the correct way with information from reliable sources. And the basis of this presentation is based on this document published by the Indian Society of Heating, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers. This is the society which has all the air conditioning engineers of India, and they have brought out this wonderful guideline and we should follow them. As far as the transmission is concerned, we are all aware of how it transmits. We are also aware of the various droplet sizes, the distances they travel, and the float time for each of these particles. Our problem is with the small particles which can stay suspended in air for a long time. So what is ventilation? Ventilation is a process of providing outdoor air to a space or a building by natural or mechanical means. It controls how quickly the air is removed and replaced over a period of time. In some cases, it is necessary to remove the pollution from the outdoor air using filtration systems before it is introduced into the space. So what the ventilation does is a very critical role of removing the exhaled virus-laden air, lowering the overall concentration, and hence it reduces the dose of what is inhaled by the occupants. Hence, a good ventilation system protects the occupants against airborne transmission. However, we must understand that we cannot increase the ventilation rates as and when needed because it is limited by the original design specifications and the implementation. So how can we improve the air quality? Some of the things that we can do is to increase the ventilation rate, or what is called as the air changes per hour. So in mechanical systems, this has to be done by an AHU expert. It has to be recalibrated by them. We cannot meddle with that. As far as naturally ventilated systems, so what we can do is use the doors and the windows. So here we can open the windows and the doors as much as possible to increase the ventilation. However, it would depend on the local factors, the temperature and humidity in various locales. Second thing is to avoid recirculation as much as possible, especially in small closed spaces. If we can't avoid it, then at least we should add a filtration system. The air filtering can be done by using various air filtering devices. The purpose of them is to reduce the suspended particles or the indoor dust, which actually carry the virus all around the room. Next is to consider effective disinfection. That is, you can consider the UV light either into the room or in the ducts, and make sure that you have adequate surface disinfection to reduce the bioburden, because this dust which has got settled again gets resuspended, and this again can cause infection. Next, as told by Dr. Ajay, reduce the number of occupants in the room, spend less time with less occupants, and add an exhaust. So these are the ways by which we can improve the air quality. So this is a diagrammatic representation showing all the things that I just told you. If at all you have to use a recirculation unit, make sure that you can add a cleaning and a disinfection in between the time when it recirculates. That will help in reducing the load inside the room. Coming to the relative humidity and temperature, it's important that we maintain the relative humidity between 40 to 60. The room air conditioners would reduce both the temperature and the humidity, while the evaporative coolers will only reduce the temperature. A comfortable temperature of 24 to 30 degrees is what we should try to achieve. Coming to our OPD, most of us use air conditioners, and these are recirculating units. So what we should do is to slightly open the windows and the doors so that air can enter from outside, not have a very closed airtight system. You can also add a fresh air intake through a fan filtering unit. So this will be an infrastructure, new infrastructure that you may have to add. But most of the times this would not be required if you are able to open the doors and the windows of that room. This is what I have done. You can see the door and the window both are open in my consultation room. This is what I've been doing, and I have not done any other extra changes. Other thing is to add an exhaust. The exhaust has to be added in the wall opposite to the air entry point. So this will make sure that the air traverses the room. Do not add the exhaust very close to the input. Another thing that we have to do is to ensure that the draft of the air unit is not directly directed at the occupants, rather it should be directed away towards the roof. So this is how the direction of the air should be there when you are using a split AC. Then coming to the evaporative coolers do not have air filters as original equipment. So we can fit air filters into them. And we should also make sure that we keep the windows open to release the humid air. Portable evaporative coolers do not draw the outdoor air, are not recommended. Coming to the portable room air cleaners, again there are two types. You have the passive type, that is the HEPA filter types, and the active type, the UV and the anionizer types. It's important to understand they will not protect the people from direct droplets or surface contamination exposure, but will reduce the indoor concentration of the contaminants through action of dilution. So they'll remove these contaminants, hence make the air less contaminated. When you are using active systems, we have to make sure that we understand the single pass efficiency of that system and also possibility of harmful byproducts. As far as air filter is concerned, another important point that we should all consider when you are buying an air filter or a fan filtering unit is the CFM of that machine. So for a room size of 100 square feet with a roof height of 10 square feet, the suggested air changes are about approximately 9 to 10. So you should look at this value. So you require about 166 CFM value for that machine. For most OPD, our size of the OPD will be 12 by 12 into or 12 by 15. So for that size of the OPD, you make sure that you have a machine which has got a mentioned value of CFM of 240 to 300. So when we are buying the machine, we have to look at this particular specification and then buy it. As far as ionization dispersing products are concerned, these disperse charged products into the air, particles into the air, and the ions are attached to the dust what is there, and then these particles actually settle onto the surfaces, either the wall or onto the furniture. So they are actually not removed. They adhere to the surfaces. So it is important that we have to do a thorough disinfection of these surfaces again. Coming to the OT, the most common HVAC systems that we all commonly use in ophthalmic setups are the split ACs. They are the recirculating units. We can have a fan units also can be added in this patient, in these OTs. The next commonly used system is the independent air handling units, which are positive pressure ventilation systems with a terminal HEPA. Well, very big hospitals have OT complex with a central air conditioning which is supplied through ducts, or you may have a OT complex with a central AHU with positive pressure ventilation and HEPA. So these are the various systems that are available for all of us. As far as the split ACs are concerned, this is not recommended in the current COVID situation. However, most of us will be forced to use these systems. So we can improve this system by using or adding a fan filtering unit with HEPA. So keep the door slightly open, or adjacent room should have also a fan filtering unit. And additional powerful exhaust fan with HEPA can also be used when you are using this split ACs. As far as the individual HVAC system or the AHU is concerned, these are positive pressure ventilation systems wherein you have a supply duct, then you have return ducts. The return air goes back to the system along with fresh air intake. Again, the same air is supplied partly to the OT. So this is an example of an OT with AHU. So are these okay in COVID situation? Now we had a lot of confusion, various guidelines came out, but it's important to remember these are quite safe, and these have to run at full capacity, and they should not be stopped during the procedure. And as per the guidelines of the Royal College, the rapid dilution of these aerosols by the operating room ventilation will protect the operating room staff, and air passing from the operation theatre to the adjacent area will be highly diluted and not considered as a risk. This is what it says. However, if at all we want to add a negative pressure, we can do it without modifying the existing OT by adding what is called as an airlock. So just if you have a room adjacent to the OT, a negative pressure sink can be created to prevent the spread of infection. So what is basically done is, in the room adjacent, a powerful exhaust with the HEPA is added. This will suck the air out of air out of that room. The OT will continue to be at positive pressure, hence, and the adjacent area will also remain same. And this negative pressure sink will prevent the infective items or the infective air from the OT getting onto the general outside area. As far as the negative pressure OT is concerned, this would be required only if you're treating COVID positive patients, and most of us may not be doing this, so this will be restricted to institutes. Here the same OT will have to have another exhaust which is powerful, so that it removes the air faster than what is supplied, and with respect to the surrounding area. So hence it becomes a negative pressure, and the air here would be coming from the clean corridor into the OT. As far as the central HVAC systems are concerned, these are actually very complicated. I will not delve into them. It is better to consult an air handling expert if at all you have to change anything in these systems. Then the next question was HEPA versus ultra HEPA. So this was also making the rounds when we were discussing the last year. Again, it's very important to understand what is the concept of most penetrating particle size. So the filtration efficiency will be higher for all particle sizes, either smaller or larger than the most penetrating particle size. So for most penetrating particle size for HEPA filters typically falls between 0.15 to 0.25 microns. So if anything is smaller, it's very important, if anything is smaller than this, also will be filtered efficiently by the HEPA filter. That is very important to understand, and this is the concept of the most penetrating particle size. So what is more important is to have a correct HEPA filter which is certified as called as a HEPA filter. As far as the OT is concerned, as I told you,
to interrupt, sir,
to have HEPA filter with.
Please conclude the presentation. I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, we have enough time. I think I'll just last 2 slides, please. Your timer doesn't show up. We cannot make out.
It's on top of the.
Okay. Wait. So the air handling recommendation is to have minimum staff. No, do not open the OT door, And after finishing the case, run the AHU for at least 20 to 30 minutes before you take up the next case. Whether you have to do the infrastructure changes, it depends on what type of patients you are treating. If you are treating mainly the COVID negative patients, then ideally speaking, we may not have to do too many changes. We may just have to redesignate the areas, modify the existing infrastructure, and prevent the spread of infection from patients and hospital staff. Thank you very much.
Excellent talk, Raju.
Thank you, sir.
So if you could just tell us 2 points which we could take back home, practical points, which is like, not complicated. What should one do, in our OPD, and 1 point in OT, one take home point.
If you're going to use a split AC, most of us would be doing, keep your doors and windows open. Great. And add a filter into your room. And for choosing a filter, use the correct CFM based on your room size.
Lovely.
There are filters, available that you can put on top of the filter that is there in the AC. There are, foldable HEPA filters. Of course, it will reduce the AC efficiency quite a bit, but you can do it at least. I mean, if nothing else.
So basically, whenever we are adding HEPA, we should understand we are adding resistance.
Correct.
Exactly. Unless we have a fan which is able to overcome that resistance, it is actually doesn't work the way we think it to work. So that is very important to understand when we are talking about air handling systems. So HEPA has a huge resistance. So you have to overcome the resistance to give the air. Just putting a HEPA doesn't work actually.
And actually, even for air handling units, if you want it to be protective against corona, you need that ultra HEPA, which increases the load on your machine significantly. If you want it to be 99.9%.
Abhishek, I tried to make that point very clear. There's something called as most penetrating particle size.
Correct.
So anything below that also is filtered. That is again very important to understand. Anything below is because of the Tyndall effect. So that also will be filtered. So your HEPA would be sufficient for all practical purposes.
Right. Raju, 1 point I wanted to ask you. My AC guy came because as you saw, my OPD was fully open, He said, Doctor, aap ye kya kar rahe? Mera AC jal jayega, it'll burn out, So he was having that problem, like, doctor, you're not getting cooling and the AC is going to get burnt out. So what is the sweet spot? Like, how much should you keep your room open? Should you, you got what I'm trying to say?
I understand. So that's why I said it depends on local factors. So we may not be able to do the same thing everywhere. You have to keep your temperature slightly at higher level. You cannot keep it at 24. You might have to keep it at 28 or 29.
Okay. Got your point.
So that's how you can.
There's another thing.
As highest possible.
There is another thing that will come in our slides. What we have done is that we open the window slightly behind me and have a fan which throws air, and then we have an exhaust in the nearby room, connected room with the door slightly open. So there is a continuous.
So you can do so that the air circulation increases. Basically, you have to try to remove the air.
Correct.
And dilute it.
So last question I would want to say, Raju and Abhishek, both. So now it's final that coronavirus is spread through droplet or through airborne. Can you clear that once for all? Because I've had 100 arguments with everybody. So can you just clear one doubt of mine? Sorry?
It's pretty clear now. There is enough evidence that it is spread both by droplets and by air. The only thing is that the droplet kind of infection, the contamination settles fast because the way the droplets settle down.
True.
But in the air, it stays for at least a couple of hours.
Yeah. That's so scary, I mean, it's what I want to see,
One point is that what settles down after it dries, it again gets resuspended.
True.
So that is why you need to do the surface disinfection and also add a filter. Okay. The filter will remove the water is getting resuspended, and disinfection will try to clear out what is deposited.
So last, make it very simple for people like me who have no knowledge. What is the one filter which you will advise us to buy? Simple thing, like simple. What you suggest one? The brand or the name or what? That.
Yeah, there are 2 or 3 brands. One is the Philips one. Other one is the Conway, which have the HEPA filter with the specified CFM. So you look at the cubic feet per meter, that air transmission that is happening, airflow that is happening. Based on that, you need to choose.
You need to measure your room, calculate the volume of air, and then multiply it by at least 5, so that there are 5 exchanges every hour. And depending on that, you will have that CFM, and then you choose your filter.
For roughly for a CFM of like air exchange of 10 air exchanges, a CFM of 166 is required for 1000 cubic feet. That's how you can take.
Correct.
So that is the calculation.
Okay.